I'm going. What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit podcast. And what the fuck else do I say?
Okay, so listen, Joe's a little bit flustered right now. He had a child a week ago. Welcome to the Relentless Pursuit podcast.
Welcome to
Joe Adams.
This is Joe Adams. And as always, we got my man Logan Hyder of Cinema 83 LLC in the house.
Yeah, there it is.
Fucking shit. Getting back in the swing of things, dude. I'm a new dad.
Yeah.
One day at a time.
Yeah. And today we have a very special guest, one that I have never spoken to, really. And so I know nothing about. Logan's been in contact, so it's pretty exciting because I always have like an idea. Mr. Dylan Lee Gentry.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you guys.
What's good?
Dude,
Glad
you know
to be
what?
here.
Yeah, man, glad to have you here. You know, dude, when I say his name, I expect him to start playing like a country song.
He does.
Like I expect like an acoustic guitar to come out. It sounds like some fucking country singer.
Yeah, there's no
Dylan
doubt.
Lee Gentry.
He really does. He really does.
There's no doubt that when my parents named me, it was to be a rock star. There's no doubt. Yeah, for sure.
It's got that sound to it, man.
That's awesome. But we have a lot of stuff to get in. Fuck my life. Hold on one second.
Getting a little buzz.
Yeah. He's fucking. Okay. Fuck my life. That totally. Oh, what I was gonna say was, I have a lot to get into with Dylan for sure, but we would be remiss if we didn't start with the new father in the room.
Thank you.
So a week ago today,
Thank you.
he had Ozzy.
Yes.
So
yes.
please share.
Oh yeah. Real quick, if we're getting your story.
Oh no, you're great, bro.
No, so yeah.
I wouldn't normally do that, but that's a pretty.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I mean?
it's very
no.
important. Yeah.
So Lydia had our daughter last week, and so yeah, I was at work Wednesday, and I was like, man, it's funny because we had the induction date coming on the 13th, and so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get off work early today, like clean the house, like do all this shit, and like just hang out with you. Like I've been kind of getting some burnout lately, anyways, and so I'm here plugging away, yeah, and then I get a call like at 8:45, 9 o'clock like last Wednesday morning. And she's like, my water broke, and it just keeps going. And I'm like, fuck. Okay, so long story short, I get my ass home. It's funny, too, because I took off out of here, and my neighbor, the guy next door, Greg, he texted me. He's like, baby? And I was like, how'd you tell? He's like, you were hauling ass. I was like, whoa.
That's awesome.
That's so funny.
And, yeah, so I went there. We kind of got things ready to roll as much as we could and got her to the hospital, man. For sure, her water broke. So she was in labor for 20 hours. And then Thursday at 4:49 a.m., man, little Miss Ozzy Joe Adams popped out into the world. And it was wild, dude. It was crazy. Like she was.
Were you in the room?
Oh, dude, fuck yeah. No, it was crazy. Like,
Some people don't see the,
No, man.
Did you actually cut the umbilical cord?
I
and
did.
everything?
Hey, fuck yeah.
So like she was pushing. It was funny too, because she was in labor for a long time and she did the epidural, right? And, that wore off in like middle of the night, and so she was in really bad pain. And so they did another one, and we're just waiting. And I'm trying to I'm dozing in and out, but just kind of waiting next to her. And then the nurse comes in at like 4 or something. She's like, "All right, get ready, start pushing. Like I'm gonna get the doctor in here." And I'm like,
I was about to take a nap.
Yeah. And it's funny. She's like telling her how to like push, and she's like, it's like when you're pooping, when you push. So I'm like sitting next to Lydia, like. See what it feels like.
Oh my God. You're like flexing real quick. You're like,
okay, that's what a baby's like. I'm just trying to be involved.
Oh my God.
No, but long story
I'm just
short,
trying to be involved. He shits himself over there.
I'm like, fuck,
bro.
hold on. Yeah, man. And it was, so, but the thing is, so we started and like they set up a mirror so we could watch. And like, dude, that was cool. Cause I always heard horror stories about like seeing.
That's why I said I didn't know if you were like some people.
That was the dopest shit ever.
Really?
Like anybody that is going to have children, don't be a bitch and watch your baby be born, because like you get to see like them come into the world, bro.
Right.
Like you see their head and like they're, I got to see the color of her hair, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is fucking nuts. And then like she pushed for like less than 10 minutes, like 9 minutes, and she was out.
After everything that she went through, that's
insane,
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then so.
That's grace right there. That after everything she went through, that she was just able to.
Crazy, right? And they don't let me hold her immediately. They let her hold her right off the bat. And then like I cut the umbilical cord and they put her into this thing and did some stuff, dude. And then like when I held her for the first time, that's when it hit me. Like, bro, I was just like, my heart just fucking
I can
dropped.
only imagine,
dude.
Yeah,
Like
childbirth is such a crazy process in
really
itself,
is. Bro.
that we just grow something inside of us, and then it just becomes another human.
That's what I told him when he texted me the picture. I was like, dude, y'all created a life.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
there just wasn't a life before, and like now there just is a living, fucking breathing human being. Like,
Dude,
Yeah,
I was
what a
holding her
beautiful-
and I was just like in tears. I was just like, I love you so fucking much.
That's
like
awesome.
you were the most
that's
beautiful
incredible.
thing in the world, and I'm just gonna be the best I can for you. And dude, it was just unreal. It's a feeling I'll never be able to explain.
Yeah.
But unless you've been there and like you're stoked for it, like you'll get it.
I'm stoked for it one day. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, one day, man. I mean, when the time comes, I mean,
sure, yeah.
this is something we both wanted. We had planned on, getting married and like maybe later this year,
Right.
because unfortunately for women, there's like more of a clock, right?
No doubt.
And with her, she's technically they were like, yeah, unless you have like a kids early, like it's going to be really hard for you. And so, but I mean, shit, she got pregnant, pretty early on. So I'm like, dude, I mean, it's a lot because like, I got my business and I'm already back at work, like we were at the hospital for 4 days, got back Saturday night, spent the day at home, and I'm back working Monday morning, and so, but fortunately I'm like close, so I can, after this, I'm going to drop by before I go do some other shit and just say, hey, and like, Lydia can bring her by anytime.
that part's awesome. Like I was telling you before she was born, that like you don't work downtown Nashville or something where you can't leave and you're super far away.
Yeah. Like I don't get time off because I have to, like, I do everything. So I have to be here, but I have a lot of like flexibility. So I'm like able to have a lot of time. So yeah, dude, now we're just fucking parents, man. She's,
That's fucking awesome.
she's doing all the mom stuff. I'm doing everything I can, and like just when I'm there, I'm like
That's
holding
the
her
dad
as much as
stuff right there.
possible. And
Yeah,
just,
that's the
I
dad
fucking
stuff.
stare at her.
Everything you can.
I'm like, hey, I'll change diapers. I'll do whatever I need. Like, I don't mind doing all that.
Just tell me what to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I mean, she's not resting much cause she's got to feed her every few hours and yeah, so she's got a lot on her plate, but, yeah, dude, it's just crazy,
awesome,
man.
man.
Like, it's
Congratulations,
the best feeling.
bro.
There's nothing like it.
Congrats, bro, for sure.
Thanks,
You're killing
fellas.
it, dude.
Thanks, guys.
You're killing it.
Trying.
I'm sure we'll.
It definitely gives you a whole nother level of inspiration. Like, I don't know. I was in the shower last night and I was thinking of all these fucking ideas and I was like and I'm one of those people, like if I don't write it down immediately, I'll forget. And I'm just like repeating them in my head and like got my journal right after the shower, writing them down because I don't know, just like intensifies that creativity flow.
For sure. Yeah.
So, cause I'm like, I love this and I love the purpose of it, but like, I don't know, it's having a daughter now just like gives you so much more purpose.
Lights a fire in you, I'm sure. Dude.
Yeah. Cause like I got to fucking succeed for you. Like I got to raise you. Like I got to bring you into this world and like guide you and lead and all these things, like, and it's funny. And last thing, we'll get your story, but I remember
you're great, bro.
Sunday night, like Lydia's like, you're not yourself. Like something's wrong with you. And I'm like, I'm fine. Like I'm fucking stoked. Like, and she was like, no, you're off. And I was like, like, she's like, you're just tense. And I was like, well, yeah, I am. Like, cause at the end of the day, and she noticed it. And I mean, she knows everything about me, but I was just like, I'm fucking, it's like the weight of the world on my shoulder, man. Like it's like my job to protect you and then you pregnant with her. But now like, I got to protect both of you. And like, she is so like fragile and shit, and I'm like, like she makes a face. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Or like,
Yeah, right.
But then she like shits, and I'm like, okay, that's what that is.
You're just doing your job, man.
Because babies do all these
Just doing
weird
your
noises
job.
and faces, and I'm like, is everything good? But no, she's super chill. Pretty. I mean,
That's crazy.
And last thing I want to say, so a lot of people talk about how hard it is having a newborn. And like, I don't know, if one thing is Lydia and I really wanted this. And like, I've also been very intentional about like becoming a father and like, my intention going into it. And honestly, it's not easy, but it's not hard. Does that make sense? Like people
Something
are like,
that
it's
just
so
comes
hard.
natural.
It's so hard. Like it's always this, and this. And I'm like, one, Lydia and I have a good balance. Like, she's sleeping on like a recliner right now because her back's jacked up, but like she wants me to sleep in the bed and like get good rest because she knows I got to work all day. She respects that, and she sees the purpose. Like I'm going to provide for us, so it's not like you need to be doing this and that. Like there's nothing I can do right now, anyways. I don't got to milk, And so, but like there's this good balance, and like we respect each other, and like we help each other out. We're very intentional about that, and it's not hard, man. It's just like I don't know. It's fun. Fucking,
awesome.
I like
That's
it. I like
awesome,
changing her
man.
diaper, man. Like I'm like, hey, I'm helping clean you up, making
Yeah.
you feel better.
That's what love is, right?
Yeah. So it's beautiful, man.
I would say before we jump to Dylan, I definitely noticed a shift as well. But I didn't really take it as tension. I almost took it as like almost like a calm focus.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're just like you're focused. How I feel. It's almost like you're like, I can see. I don't know. I can feel
focus
it.
shift.
I can feel it. I can feel your, but not necessarily in a bad way. But like earlier, I was gonna be like, you get like you get it. You need to shake it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I
Bad
didn't.
energy now.
Yeah, but I didn't
It's
really.
a different kind of energy.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it as tension, but I definitely noticed, like, I don't know. I honestly, in my head, I was thinking maybe it's because he's a father. He just has a different air about him.
Yeah.
But,
Maybe, dude. I don't know. We'll see.
But you'll figure it out. That's the whole fucking beautiful part about
Part
it,
of
right?
it.
Well,
Part
good.
of it.
Maybe I came in at the perfect time then. Awesome.
Well,
Hell yeah.
you came in at the episode where we get to talk about Joe having his freaking baby.
Yeah.
what good time.
After this episode, they're going to be like, who's the Dylan guy?
Yeah.
All right, Dylan. So, great news. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the words. Really stoked for this.
Big
journey.
congratulations.
And,
much love.
Yeah, can't wait to get her on camera. Like, I'll have Lydia bring her in. But,
Awesome.
but that being said, we'll touch more on fatherhood at some point.
For sure.
And, when we got a million other episodes to record. So, that being said, let's dive into you, Dylan.
Yeah, for sure.
To start, just tell us about tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, what you do currently, and just let people know who you are, and then we'll dive into your backstory and go from there.
Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah, I'm from South Georgia, originally Camden County.
Okay.
And right now I'm on a journey of personal excellence, man.
Hell yeah.
I'm working in a bakery right now, making the bread, stacking the bread to stack the bread. Trying to save up as much money as possible right now. Hoping to get in the real estate in the next couple of years.
Sweet.
And on that also, I'm just working on trying to help as many as possible, help as many people as possible along the way. Just trying to, like I said, practice personal excellence, leading by example. To me is more important than anything.
Yeah.
And, when I look around in the world today, man, the way that men are so disillusioned and everything, I just want to try to be something to combat that, know, and, so here I am at, relentless pursuit.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, man. Like, dude, that's perfectly said. I'm just here to achieve personal excellence.
There's a reason why there's a reason why I grabbed him, bro.
Yeah, and that's just an important mindset, and like that's what this
Absolutely.
brand's all about is like really just trying to achieve personal excellence in every way, especially in your own life. And then, I think that's very important. That's definitely the message we're putting out. So you're a good fit to be here, then, dude.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I'm stoked, dude. Yeah, I love the brand. That's what drew me here. You guys look like you live a disciplined life. You're chasing after something. You have a vision.
Yeah.
And that to me speaks louder than anything because, nowadays we're just like, we go from 9 to 5, we cash our check, and not even to, to speak on the political space of everything going on today. There's just a lot of misinterpreted things, I feel like.
Yeah.
And there's not really a space for men to be men anymore, to have duty, to have honor, to have, a purpose.
And there's there needs to be an emphasis on that. There's no, people are almost like, what is an actual man nowadays? Because you got like two extremes. You got the men that are like, try to be an alpha. Right. And they want to be like the big tough guy, not share emotions, not like, not be vulnerable and all these things, but they're just pissed off and bottle shit in. Or you got the dudes that are a little bit too,
the virtue signaling type.
The virtue signal type that are complete opposite of that are weak and like, they're too emotional, but they have no like, none of that other, you get what I'm saying? They don't have that
worth
balance
to them.
So what's the most important is that balance of a man,
Absolutely.
like one that's masculine, that is capable, that is provider, that leads by example, but also is vulnerable, does feeling like, dude, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like some would say that's bad, but I'm just that way. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, just having that balance, and people truly tend to appreciate that more. So if we can help get men to come together and become that way,
man. Brotherhood,
Yeah. And I think it's just a lot of that is like, obviously I think talk about the boomer mentality a lot, but the, past generations, it was always like, you got to be a man and just deal with your shit and work. And like, yeah, but y'all are all like really not happy.
Yeah.
And then, but then you have the other side, like that has birthed, the more weaker side of things, you know what I'm saying? And so how do we like bring things together and like make men just strong and capable and fucking just awesome?
That's a difficult thing.
Words are hard right now.
Yeah, I get it, bro.
You got that brain. You got that brain.
It's going to be a difficult thing, but it's not supposed to be easy, man. You know what I mean? Like I'm a true believer of that like anything that you have that is worthwhile is going to be tough. You know what I mean? And it's about overcoming that.
Yeah. I mean, we're in the dark ages, man. So
we are in the dark ages.
So you got to live like you're already in the golden age.
So, and Joe's a superhero in the dark ages.
I'm trying to raise one. I told Lydia, I was like, dude, this is Athena. Like, we're raising Athena.
There it is.
And she's going to lead the fucking armies into battle one day. Go. Like, she'll be dreaming, like, and I'll be like, dude, she's dreaming about
She's dreaming of slaying men across this country.
That's beautiful.
But Dylan, so we talked the other day about your insane story. So that's kind of what you're about right now. Yeah. Like, how the hell did you get there?
Well, I do want to say real quick. So Camden, I just got to say, because my mom's whole side of the family is from South Georgia. Like, so
I'm sorry.
Like Macon, they lived in Forest Park outside of Atlanta for a long time.
He said, I'm sorry.
Yeah, my grandparents are from like Locust Grove and like all around there. So I got a lot of family down that way. McDonough.
I know all about McDonough.
Yeah. So
Camden County, that's the swamp, baby.
I grew up in Georgia most of my childhood until I moved to North Carolina, but so good shit, dude.
Yeah,
two Georgia boys.
Yeah, just two Georgia boys.
I don't even know if I'm in Georgia. I mean,
Go Dogs.
Born in Florida.
Go Vols.
Oh God, sports guys.
Go Vols, baby.
What's funny about me is I don't follow sports zero.
Me either. I'm not a sports guy at all.
He just threw it out there.
I didn't take you as one that did.
I'm not a sports guy at all.
No, watch.
I love some hockey because they can fight.
Yeah,
you know,
there it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, all right, take us back, Dylan.
Yeah, take it
all
back.
right, yeah, man, for sure. So when I was 17 years old, I was convicted of 14 counts of aggravated assault, bro.
Well, so
that's
pretty nuts. But so before that, like, do you want to touch on like
Absolutely.
The childhood a little bit,
sure.
like a little bit?
Yeah, I just wanted to give a little,
a little shock value.
I actually had a pretty good childhood. My parents owned a business, and everything. My dad was a good dad. Taught me some values and everything, but he was a trucker, so he was constantly gone all the time. And, I just kind of got wrapped up into the, gangster mentality, basically, just like a lot of kids do nowadays.
Yeah.
I got wrapped up into wanting to be something that I wasn't being, and it drug me into a path that, I've made a choice to try to view as an asset.
Yeah.
Rather than something that, that can hold me back the rest of my life. So, basically I got into, just like a lot of other people, I got into doing the drugs, smoking the weed, doing the pills, everything. Mm-hmm. One thing led to another, started selling pills and everything, started kind of getting the power, you know what I mean? Or what I thought maybe was the power, the illusion of power back then.
Yeah.
And
so real quick, just on that point, you said that you looked at it as an asset versus something that would hold you back. So explain that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure, man. Just the trials and tribulations that from the choices that I made, I had to realize at one point that, whenever everything kind of came crashing down, it was like, okay, I'm going to prison. Like this is a real thing. And there was a dark time that I went through while I was in prison where, I seen people, talking about suicide and, me, I started looking at that as maybe a way out, but, it came to a point where I said, you know what, this is an opportunity for me. This is not something that can hold me back. I get to read all kinds of books. I get to get in shape. I get to discipline myself.
Yeah.
I started kind of believing in a higher power. And that in turn kind of presented me with the people who were equipped to have those things, to show me that, and to lead by example.
That makes sense.
I didn't mean to jump ahead. So you were saying, saying that
you're great, bro. You're golden.
That you got into that lifestyle.
No, bro. It's an open book here for sure.
You're good.
Just one thing led to another. I started selling and I started getting some power, or what I perceived as power. It was not real power.
Yeah. That's what Shane talked about a lot too. When he was talking about when he was doing his criminal activity, that he felt like it gave him power.
That's what he was addicted to.
Yeah. It was the same thing for me, and I was like, 15, 16, about the time I was really getting, into it and everything. And down in South Georgia where I'm from, pills are a big, big thing. And so, where I was going to school and everything, people hadn't really experienced any of that. So I was the person to introduce them to that, and so that kind of gave me what I felt like, I guess, was, a sense of purpose at the time.
Yeah. You were like providing these people with something they needed.
Right, exactly.
Another thing that Shane mentioned, he said that he liked being the person that people came to.
Yeah, that was my whole thing right there. That was my whole thing is like, I'm the guy now. I'm the guy, you know what I mean? You know, I never was like the most athletic. I never was like the popular kid or anything like that. I was kind of on the fringes. And so that kind of gave me an in,
right.
You know,
a little bit of a status or something.
Absolutely,
100%.
you know.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know, whenever you're that age, you get something like that in your hands, it goes instantly to your head.
Yeah,
you know, it's just, you know, it's just part of the struggle for sure. Of course, you know. But yeah, one thing led to another. A buddy that I actually grew up with is what all this happened between. You know, there's a saying in prison. They say you never shoot anybody that you don't know. You know what I mean? It always happens to somebody that you love.
I've never heard that before. That is that's crazy.
It's always somebody you love, man, because it's the people that you love that hurt you the most, you know, and then you want to lash out.
Yeah.
And that, you know what I mean? And so it's very rare that somebody's in there for just messing with a stranger.
Yeah, I have heard that a lot of like assault and like stuff like things like that. It usually is somebody that you know, and like sexual assault too. I think it's the same case. I think it's like usually somebody that you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, and so you know that's kind of what put me in the position that I was in. You know, is me. You know, I grew up with this kid. You know, we knew each other most of our life. We did dirt together. We weren't, you know, always real close, but it was somebody that I talked to and confided in and whatnot. But basically what happened is I started fronting things to him, giving him things for free, you know, and eventually it racked up, you know, like a $3,000-$4,000 debt between me and him. And, you know, I'm of course letting the power in my head. Yeah. I'm thinking, oh, I got to handle this. You know what I mean?
And in the grand scheme, like $3,000-$4,000.
It's comical. Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, but
at the time, it's like, oh, fuck. I mean, people take that shit serious, especially when you're in that world. I mean, even
for sure.
People take a couple $100 serious. They could have, they got plenty of money. They're like, oh, a couple $100, motherfucker. Like, that greed combined with the power too.
But you were saying that, you were just saying that, right? Like you like kind of got it in your head that you had to deal with this because he
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, it was a status thing. You know, I felt like, you know, if I let this happen with him and I let it, you know, seep through the cracks, then somebody else would try to do this. And, you know, looking back, that is not at all like it was. Like I was living in a movie, you know what I mean? Like
that's another great way to put it.
Yeah.
Like you're like playing The Godfather or something.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and, you know, it's also the thing to do with the age, man. That's a huge factor. It's I was just, you know, getting into this 14, 15, 16 years old. And yeah, there were people along the way who were like, dude, you're gonna like wind up in this place if you keep living like this. And, you know, it's really funny now because now I'm that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. That's a good thing. Though.
Yeah. You're trying to like share lessons with people now. Hey, man, you're fucking up. But you were that. I mean, but that's the thing is too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's beautiful. I mean,
it's that experience, man. Like I've talked about shit things I've done in the past and like, you know, I haven't necessarily been on that level of you, but like I've just done some fucking shitty things, been involved with some fucked up shit, and you know, but like I've learned from it, man, and I'm glad I had that experience, man, and like also, and I see the value in it too. Like, you know, I've had people be like, "Oh, it's not my fault you did this and that, or you were this way," and I'm like, "Oh, why would you ever do this?" And it's like, man, at the end of the day, like I got to experience it, man, and like that translates. That's it. By me sharing that, I'm able to help people from actual experience, not just being like, you shouldn't do this and like raising my kids, you know, like raising my daughter. And then if we have other kids, like now if they're going through some life shit, like I know I've experienced some fucking life shit. And so like, I'm actually going to be able to relate and have a conversation with them rather than just be this authoritative figure.
Yeah, hey, it's like, no. Yeah.
Like, because I'm not going to be a hypocrite, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I see that there's a lot of value there too.
I was going to say about the hypocrite thing, that shit irritates the hell out of me whenever people are, oh, well, you did this or you did that. Like, yeah, that's why I'm fucking telling you not to.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a weak deflection. Like, hey, don't do this. Yeah, but you were doing that at that age. Yeah, that's why I'm fucking telling you not to.
Yeah, right.
Like, how is that a good response?
It's not even necessarily telling, and I will say too, there's a fine line though, because telling somebody not to do something, like I know me personally, my whole life, people are like, don't do this. I'm like, I'm going to be the opposite of that. So I don't like because I don't like being told to do, but like, hey, not necessarily telling them not to, but being like, hey, okay, this is what happened to me.
Right. This is my experience.
I did that. It's all on you. You make your own decisions. But
well,
I've had this experience and they're like, fuck, okay. Because it makes it more.
I just don't like when people throw stuff like that back at you because it's like, well, yeah, I'm first of all, I'm aware. I was there. I know. And it's been something that I had to deal with, that I did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And that's the place that I'm speaking from. If I was speaking from you from a place where I hadn't done what I'm talking about, then I would be preaching because I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, that's just like, whenever I say people would try to get through to me, I think that's where it's super important, man, to not just say something to somebody, but to sit down, make a time. That's what a lot of people aren't doing nowadays. I feel like is they aren't making the time to sit down and say, hey, let's go for a ride. Let's go for a walk. You know what I mean? It's just, it looks like an old man waving a cane at you almost like, don't do that, Sonny, almost, but like, especially with, a lot of men nowadays and stuff, they don't take the time, I feel like, to sit down people and say, hey man, look, like this is what you're doing. These are the actions that you're taking. And, here's the result of that, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Right.
And whenever you become a man, you're going to be responsible for those things. Like right now, you're a boy and it's okay, but one day you're going to have to reap what you sow, you know? And that was for me is like nobody ever really, I felt like, I guess, took the time to truly sit me down and say, like, pick their finger in my face and say, look, you're fucking up, man.
Yeah.
You're fucking up. And if you keep fucking up, like, you're going to be a fuck up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so now that's kind of what I try to do for kids. I mean, I have, people at where my fiance works and stuff like that, they would bring their kids to me and, they would, bring them to me basically. And I would just tell them, look, dude, like doing something that you hear in a music video is not what makes you hard. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make you a gangster. If you want to be a gangster, take care of your family, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like do the hard things, challenge yourself personally.
I've thought about that before, like the outlaw mindset, and everybody's like,
Right.
oh man, I want to be an outlaw and do these bad things and like fucking raise hell. And it's like, yeah, but everybody's doing that now. Like, what's truly like fucking outlawish in nature now is like being a good individual, like
That's a fact.
raising your family, and like you said, man, your life is a direct result of your actions, right? And so, and it's something I'm always telling myself is like, I've had to pay, I'm sure, like, because karma is not good or bad. It's just like this meter, right? Like,
It doesn't
it's
discriminate.
how it doesn't discriminate. It's just
Absolutely.
yeah. So karma isn't good or bad. It's like
It's choices.
It's like action reaction.
it's so basically, fuck. I had a perfect line I was going to be saying, but long story short, like
Karma
when
isn't
I
good or bad.
reflect, I'm going to be like, I ask myself, is this an honorable thing? Like, don't get me wrong, I like to like drink a little too much every once in a while, like raise a little hell, like when my brother's in the woods, but that's like different because there's a spiritual aspect to that too. But, but I'm like, is this action going to be honorable or dishonorable? And I think like when you kind of base things off of that, like that's everything in the rest of your life is going to play off
for
based
sure.
off those things.
You definitely have to make time to be human, man.
Yeah.
Talking about like getting drunk and things like that. There's times to be human, but for me, I try to make myself earn that.
Exactly.
I don't just create a space to like, okay, I feel like shit today, so now it's time to rest. Like I don't believe in that. I believe that life gives me rest days.
Yep.
I try to train 6-7 days a week, and every week something comes up where I like, okay, today I need to go. I need to go do that. I mean, it's like the podcast today. I said last night I train every single night when I get off of work. But last night I said, you know what? I'm going to go. I'm going to be refreshed and I want to be present.
Yeah.
So I took me a rest day last night.
Sweet.
And that's the first one in 13 days. So
All right, everybody. This episode is brought to you by Relentless Pursuit. Check us out at relentlesspursuitlifestyle.com. Go show us some love. Grab some apparel. Let's keep this going. Also, check out our online coaching platform dropping. Oh, shit. It'll be dropped by this. So go check on our online coaching platform on the website as well. We got some killer coaches. Also, fuck, man, I can't think straight with these ad reads, man. My intro, man.
Okay.
It always makes for fun.
If you would like to sponsor the podcast, please reach out to us, and the Patreon will be up soon. We're working on it.
Thank you, guys.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Hell yeah.
yeah, awesome headquarters here, guys. I love the RP, bro.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, guys, if you could give me a follow on Instagram at Dylan Lee Gentry. And I'd appreciate that, man. Maybe we can save the world.
Hell yeah. Love it, dude. Simple, easy.
Basically, I had loaned the guy out a bunch of money or, a bunch of product, and I guess I felt like I needed to handle that personally. And so what it led to was I knew he worked at a Taco Bell. And so I showed up at his job one day and, with me, I was just taught get it in blood. And so, me and him kind of went to fisticuffs, and, I got the better of him. So to me, it was over with. So 3 a.m. that night, I get a call from him. He's telling me, "Hey man, I'm coming to kill you tonight." You know what I mean? He's talking all kinds of mad trash. I just hang up on him. I'm not taking him serious at all. And I was kind of living the life at the time. I had a bunch of people over at my house and everything, and which in turn was kind of the worst decision I made. But and this guy lived in northern Florida, and which is like 45 minutes from where I live.
Yeah.
And so anyways, he it's 3 a.m. in the morning. He comes driving down the road and everything. He's calling me. I'm not picking him up, and this is in the middle of nowhere too. I can see headlights coming from miles away, and I'm thinking like he doesn't know where I live or anything really, I'm just not really paying attention to it. Well, I'm kind of wrapped up in everything that's going on at my house. There's probably, 10 or 12 people over. We're having a little get together or whatever, doing, wild and rambunctious things. And so anyways, long story short, I look up and there's a pistol in my face. And he's got a pistol pressed to my face,
Like he got all the way up on you like that before you realized he was there?
Yeah, this is how fucked up I was. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. And yeah, I'm not
before
even,
you knew it, he was on you.
Yeah, bro. Well, he pulled into my driveway, and the way I was sitting in my truck was way on the other side of the house. And somebody pulling into my driveway is not abnormal.
Not the craziest thing in the world.
Yeah, and I think I was waiting on a couple other people to come, and so and just in the meantime, he's calling my phone, and I'm just not paying attention to him, thinking that the other people were coming, because I'm just doing my own thing.
It just didn't click really.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it was over with for me. And that's you can't let your guard down when it comes to people like that, of course. Yeah. But so anyways, I look up and he's got a pistol pressed to my face, and he's just going, motherfucker, I'll kill you. Da, 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 da. Scared the piss out of me, man. You know what I mean? Like, dude, had me dead to rights.
And bro. I want to say, like, a lot of people talk about, man, I would do this.
I was about to say the same thing.
But like, I've had a pistol to my fucking forehead for like a solid 30 minutes. Yeah, it was actually
30 minutes
in Mount Juliet. I'll tell you about it sometime.
I'm assuming,
you,
I'm assuming
dude,
that's what I'm thinking about, but
I'm telling you, like, it'll no.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, like, nah, man, it's scary. Like,
yeah.
But
you're like, dude, my brains could be all over the place here in any second.
But you're 100% right, because 99% of people, when they tell that part of the story, you're like, and I knew that motherfucker wasn't going to do shit, and so I told him, fuck off,
No, like, I'm not going to, guess what I didn't do? Grab the gun and chop him in the throat. I was like, listen, dude, like, I was calm as shit.
I could not even speak, dude. Like I said, he had me dead to rights, like you were like,
if he wants to do this right now, he's going to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm dead. You know what I mean? Because this dude is, we're already doing pills. We're already doing all kinds of other extracurricular things, you know? And so somebody shooting you in front of a bunch of people is not that far-fetched, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But, at the same time, that's where he fucked up.
Yeah.
Is, he probably should have.
People all over the place.
Well, that, and he probably just should have iced my ass right then. Because, as soon as he... and this is where I get into a lot of conversation with people about gun safety and things like that. And that's a very valid thing, But, granted, I was like 16 years old at the time, not thinking, but also not making any excuses.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But I just to jump in real quick, though, that is something that I'm glad that you keep pointing out, though, because that is wild. I keep thinking like, this was like a couple years. It's like, dude, that was fucking, you were 16 years old, bro.
Yeah, bro. I'm, 30 years old now. So that's
half your life ago.
Yeah. Over 10 years ago for sure, and you definitely are a product of your choices, and it's going to be with you forever. So, but, yeah, for sure. So, whenever he backed off and started walking away, I had a shotgun in the other side of my truck, and so, just my instincts and how I guess I was raised, I, had to handle this right now, and so.
Well, even then, it's like he could come back and shoot you.
Yeah, or also
so
I'm thinking
he's also still a threat.
He just run away. Like what?
He just walked away. He's got a pistol to my face, and he's probably going off on me for I'm guessing 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. The whole kind of party stops and everything. He's motherfucker. I'm gonna kill you. Da, 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 da. I didn't even say a word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, then he just walks away. Yeah. I guess he just wanted to shame me in front of everybody is what it was more than anything.
He probably just wanted to,
and he did.
He felt ashamed because you beat his ass probably.
Yeah.
And then, so he just wanted to make you feel embarrassed.
Exactly. And, there was also some other things there involved with, a really close colleague of mine. There was also some really close things involved there that I think were personal and made him act that way also. But I won't get into all that.
So he walks away.
Yeah, he walks away. And so, I grabbed my shotgun and, the whole party's kind of stopped. And, basically he's probably, a good 15, 20 yards out at this point. And, I'm already loaded up and everything. And I basically just start unloading on him. I had 3.5-inch turkey shot, 2 shots. I had bird shot, and so, my dad always told me that, if somebody comes on, your property or anything, that's another thing I'm thinking is like, this is my house. This is my house. Like he's on my property. I'm in the good, right?
Yeah.
Well, the law is, a touchy thing.
There's some gray area.
I have a feeling that part didn't turn out.
Yeah. And so, for sure. So, I start unloading on him basically, and amongst all this, he's got 3 friends in the car.
Fuck.
And so the car is just sitting at the end of my driveway and everything. So I start unloading on him. He gets to the car and everything. And I assume that, and also the court records state that, before he got to the car, I'd already peppered the back of his leg. So he was already bleeding when he got into the car. Well, they backed into the street and then they just stopped. And, in the state that I was in, I just went all in at this point, You
kept coming towards him?
Yeah, for sure. I'm standing in front of the car shooting into the windshield.
Fuck.
Like a madman, basically. You know what I mean?
Just all outrage.
You're just all outrage.
Were you on pills?
I was on pills. I was drinking.
That's the worst combination.
Oh, yeah.
That irking jerk, y'all.
He probably don't know that about you.
Oh, I mean, I used to, before I went to the military, I was bad with, pills.
Yeah.
Pills and drinking, dude. And it's just like...
Yeah.
That's when you make your worst decisions.
I was going to say, because that's what you talked about before, is that you just are not even...
there.
Yeah. No, you're a whole different person.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt for sure.
Dude, that's wild.
And I mean, even thinking back now, all of this happening is just a blur. You know what I mean? Even whenever I was, in court dealing with it and everything, it was more witness testimony that brought back, more of what I remembered than anything.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there was 12 or 13 people there. And also, these are people that I grew up with, knew my whole life. And, it was definitely these people would never say anything against me. But, the court is a very finicky process.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people think that, I'm doing this, I can get out here and I can finesse my way through it.
Yeah.
And, whenever you put people in danger, that's the only, or you make people scared for their life, that's the only thing it takes to be charged with aggravated assault. Yeah. You don't even really have to do anything, you know what I mean? But during the process of all that, basically my rage put a lot of the people around me, it scared them.
Yeah,
of course.
So you were shooting through the windshield, though?
Shooting through the windshield, shooting into the car and everything. And basically I ended up hitting his friend also.
Yeah.
And but during the process of all this, I did maim him pretty severely. He had a pellet go into his eye socket and it went into his brain. And so he that eventually led to...
I'm sorry, hold on one second.
So you maimed him pretty bad and went into his brain?
Yeah, he had a one pellet go into his brain, and that's, put him into the state that he is in now today, which is, he's going to be shitting in a bag the rest of his life.
Fuck.
And that's the biggest thing, man, is everybody's tough, but for me personally, I feel so guilty, because was a million different ways to handle that situation.
Yeah.
And it's not so much whether, he put a gun in my face and maybe, a lot of people say, well, he got what he deserved, but it's not even so much about him anymore. Now his mother has to deal with that the rest of her life. You know what I mean? I don't even know if he can, have kids again. I don't, I know the dude can talk. Him and I have had a conversation. He's forgiven me. You know what I mean? That's and that was a huge milestone in my life. But at the same time, like I still had to take responsibility for, the actions that I took that night, and it took me, 3 years in prison really before I really realized like, okay, you know what? I need to be here. Like I did something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I only got 5 years, I got a 25-year sentence, doing 5 years, which is, nothing compared to what some people, have gotten for way less, know, but I also took a plea deal, because, I admitted guilt and everything. There was another buddy that they tried to take down with me, and he didn't do anything. He was just there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't even do anything. And, I'm not the type of person to just let somebody go down for something I did.
Exactly.
Man,
of course.
And so I just had to.
Noble.
Yeah. I just had to go and take it. And, luckily, well, I'm not going to say luckily, but, I had enough drug money, I guess, saved up to where I was able to get a pretty good lawyer, and so, but at that point, but the first time I sat in county jail for 10 months while he was in the hospital, waiting to see if he was going to live or die, basically. So they could charge me with murder or, and so
Jesus,
it was.
You were talking about anxiety. Dude.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
I bet you were just sitting there.
So what, just real quick to connect the dots here real quick. So from the moment you're shooting to how do you end up in jail?
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you. Yeah. So, like I said, I had, peppered his friend also. And, and him. Well, I guess whenever the pellet went into his eye, he just laid back and went to sleep or whatever. Well, they drove him straight to the hospital is what happened. So
the guy that put the gun to you, is that who?
That's who was maimed. Yeah.
Okay. But you also hit the friend.
His friend. Yes.
And the friend that you hit, did he drive them?
There was 3 of them in the car. And I guess the one in the back seat didn't get hurt at all.
Gotcha.
So I guess I don't know exactly what happened inside that car after that.
I'm just trying to visualize.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. Ask me anything, bro. I'm not really exactly sure what happened. What the court documents say is that he climbed on top of his lap because he was in the driver's seat, the guy who got maimed. He was in the driver's seat. He climbed on top of his lap and put his foot on the gas.
Shit.
To drive off there. And then, what they said is that they went down the road and then they swapped places and drove him straight to the hospital. So, at this point I'm thinking like, I didn't do anything wrong. They came out to my house. They threatened me, and I kind of come back to the party and everything. And, people are just different. You know what I mean? Like,
you're like, yo, give me a drink. No.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, I'm not thinking like, oh man, I could have just really, you know what I mean? I'm 16 years old at the time of the shooting.
You're like, oh shit, that's over.
Yeah. Just another day,
But like to your
I'm
point,
Scarface.
I was gonna say about the movie thing. Like, you're just like, oh yeah, that's just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, it's just part of the life I chose. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And so. Probably about or the next day, actually, I was still awake. So, but the next day, an investigator shows up at my house, and that's whenever everything kind of started taking hold. I spent about a month, saying it wasn't me. You know what I mean? They came and shot up the wrong people, telling all kinds of lies, basically, just to try to cover my own ass. Yeah. And it came to a point where, investigators are smart people, man. They know what they're doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, don't think you can really outsmart an investigator. Like, and most of them are actually good people.
That's what Shane also talked about that. He was like talking about how he thought it was like a game between him and the people that were investigating him. And he was like so sure that he would never like get caught. And then I think he said that the last time that he saw the woman who ended up arresting him, she said, the next time I see you, I'm going to arrest you. And then when he got arrested by her, she said, do you remember what I told you? And he said he didn't. And she said, I told you I was going to arrest you the next time I saw you. And then she just walked away.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. No, it really is like that, man. And I went through about a month of that, of trying to say, it wasn't me. It was the one-armed man, Yeah. And, eventually it just came to a point where they started questioning my best friend, and, he's just a different personality than me. They didn't question me one time. I think they basically knew, like, this guy's not going to tell us anything.
Yeah. So we got to find others.
Yeah. And so, basically my best friend just came to me one day and he's like, look, dude, they know. Like they basically know what happened. Like they already pulled all your phone records. They can see where he called you 36 times, at that time that night. And, like I didn't call the guy, but like one time a couple of days before that, and so, that's part of the reason why I was able to only get the plea deal that I did is because he drove out to my house, and yeah, that, did play in my favor a little bit, but also like the investigator told me, there was a million different ways we could have handled that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, I definitely took it over the top. And
so was the fact that they pulled out of your driveway, was that what got you?
That was definitely a
big factor.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just just being straight up. If I had iced the dude right there on my driveway, everybody there, the only thing I probably would have had to deal with was probably be the witnesses that saw it, and that probably but I'm glad that it didn't go that way.
Yeah.
For sure. The last thing I want is a body on me.
Well, the reason why I was asking that is because like once they pull out, they're not technically on your property, right?
Georgia law, there is no castle law in Georgia.
Oh, so there's no problem.
There is no castle law in Georgia. So
shit.
you have to prove self-defense. So that's one big thing that got me is, I'm thinking the whole time that I'm going to be able to go before a court. I'm considering like taking it to trial, which is not what you want to do really in a court situation.
That's what I've heard.
Make things a lot worse for you.
That's what I've heard.
And so, but my lawyer luckily advised me not to do that. I had straight up with my lawyer, at one point, and he advised me that, he said, look, you already told me that you're guilty. You did this. He's like, trust your lawyer, man. Trust your lawyer, like for sure. Trust your lawyer, but to answer your question earlier, the investigators, they were questioning my friend. My friend comes to me and he says, they're getting on to us basically. And so I called the investigator myself, and told him, said, look, man, I did it. Like, what do I have to do to get my friend off? And he told me right then and there, like, we're charging him, he did
appreciate the confession. We got him anyways, though.
Yeah. And so, he did a year in jail over it and got 10 years probation just for being there and not stopping it.
What?
Yeah.
Well, what about the other 11
That's
people?
a little ridiculous.
What about the other 11 people?
Oh, yeah. Oh, bro, they definitely tried to push, they had my face on the front page in the newspaper. Like it was a whole.
But so what was their justification for charging him and not the other people that were there and didn't stop it?
I guess because he was
close to you?
he was a really, me and him were kind of doing the whole. It was a one fell swoop to get the drugs off the street.
I was about to say.
To get the, what I mean? It was me and him running the whole operation.
They wanted to get you both on.
And I'm sure that they were on to all of that before. I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they basically told
They definitely use that as an opportunity.
But whenever I started cooperating, is whenever things kind of started to. Well, at the time, it really started looking dark for me, in myself. I'm thinking, like, at first I'm thinking, okay, all right, I'm going to get a little bit of time, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all this is going on while we're waiting on the dude to live or die, basically.
What was that like, real quick? What was that like?
Torture, dude. And it's not so much about the situation. It's so much more about like, these are the decisions that I made to put myself there. Like, there's nothing I can do or say or point at anybody to say you made me or, oh, woe is me. Like, this is a bad situation that I was in.
Yeah.
Like,
Is a life lost because of me?
Yeah. Like who am I going to be after that? Like, what am I going to do? Like, I was definitely one of those people, man. Like I was not a dumb kid, I could have been anything, bro.
I could see
I
that.
could have been anything. I
could see that.
Like, I had goals to go into the Army.
Yeah.
That was my plan, was to go into the Army, just like the rest of my family. Most of my family is military, I got a cousin that was a tank commander in Afghanistan for years, and
so you had the opportunity,
absolutely,
to do something.
Yeah. My mom was
totally
a business owner. My mom owned a business, it wasn't like I was, hungry, we didn't have everything maybe that other people had, you know what I mean?
But you had food on the table.
We had food on the table, I had a decent family, of course there was some kinks, of course, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, at that time in my life, you know, it was definitely something that could have been avoided. But also, now that where I am today, I am so thankful for it.
Yeah.
You know?
So I just want to follow back up on that real quick. So I asked you how that was. You said it was torture. So
Yeah.
the question that comes to mind is like, how important to you is it? What did it feel like? I don't really know how to answer the question.
No, we can dive in on that for sure.
That he did not die.
You know, at the time, I was being very selfish, you know, and thinking about the best thing that could happen probably for my case would be not to have a contradictory voice to deal with. You know, if I'm just being straight up.
So you're like, if he can't say shit, it's probably better for me.
I'm just being straight up, you know what I mean? And it took some time and some older people that I was in the jail with, you know, saying like, look, man, you know, I mean, like, you know, I'm 16, I turned 17 while I was in jail, you know? And so, you know, you know, just some people that were telling me like, man, look, you know, that maybe that like some people that had already been through something maybe similar or seen other people go through something similar, you know, just telling me that this is not what you want for your life. And, you know, I can't tell you who it was that got through to me, you know, that got through to me, but somebody along the way said something. I started thinking like, okay, you know, also, and I had a chance to sober up. Yeah. You know, while I was in there. That's another huge thing.
So you're away from the drugs. Yeah. That makes a huge.
Yeah.
I don't want to harp on this too much. I just think it's just a wild thing. So you said that at the time you thought that it probably would help your case, and then somebody kind of got through to you that wasn't the case. But so maybe for a second, take me to kind of your mind now, looking back on it. How thankful are you now that he didn't die?
Oh man, you know, I am so thankful that I've committed my life to a life of service. You know, like I just want to.
You're so thankful for that you've committed.
Yeah, I've committed. I've you know, you know, I know now that all of that happened to build the individual that I am today, and you know, now I just want to give that to the world, and that's why I'm here. You know?
And it's unfortunate that that's what it took for you to get there. You know, but at the same time, you know, how many people go through similar situations and don't
100%
want to come and commit 100%. To service, and that's the thing. Like, it sucks that that's what it took. But at the end of the day, you took that and you're doing something better and you want to do something better. And, you know, there's so much life ahead of you to fucking have an impact, man. You know? So it's the right way, man, for sure.
So he did not pass, and then you.
Yeah. So, you know, eventually the case started going to court and everything. And the first plea, this is really when reality set in with me, okay? The first plea that they came up with, because I'd already decided not to take it to trial. You know, I'm already admitting guilt at this point, you know, trying to show remorse. And I was remorseful at this point, you know what I mean? It'd been almost a year and a half before we went to trial.
You'd really been sitting with it.
Yeah, really been sitting with it, you know? And so the first plea that they came at me with was 60 do 40. So that to me at, you know,
what does that mean?
60 years, a 60-year sentence,
shit.
Do 40 years in prison. That was the first plea.
And the plea is an offer for a softer.
Yes. At this point is whenever.
What was that?
Oh, bro, this broke me.
I mean, that had to be a hammer to the fucking gut.
This broke me. I cried in the courtroom.
Damn.
This, you know,
whole life right here.
Yeah. Was that a situation where like
I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it.
Me too, honestly. You know, that's a live situation. You have to make that choice right then. Is that what?
Well, you know, like I said, it's the first plea. They usually, the court usually gives you 3 pleas, but you know, and I had a good lawyer, you know, which I'm very thankful for. I owe my life to that man. But, you know, this is the first plea that they came out with. The second plea was a 20 to 15. I'm thinking this is sweet. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm about.
Isn't that crazy, the perspective?
Yeah.
Like, if you had 20 do 15, the first plea, you would have been like, holy shit. But because they gave you the 60-40, you're like, dude, 20,
well, this
15.
is a bode to my lawyer, really. You know, like he went from 60 do 40 to 20 do 15. You know what I mean? That's
quite the shift.
That's also life changing. I mean, that's 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, that's.
You know, I'm thinking like, you know, I'm about to take this. Like, you know, 15 years, okay, I'll still have some time to have a life. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'll be 33, 35 years old when I get out, you know? And
wouldn't be sitting here with us, brother.
You know, you ain't lying, man. You know, and you know, so I'm about to take this, you know, and my lawyer says, no, I can do better for you, you know, and also like if you say no to too many pleas. You know, like that can be something that they use.
And they're
against
just
you.
like slap. All right,
So they just go back to the thing.
Yeah. Or let's just take it to trial then. Yeah. If you deny 3 pleas, then they're going to take it to trial. You know, like that's the, you know.
So he want to give one more shot.
He wanted to give one more shot. He said that he could do better for me, you know, because I was so young.
I was going to ask that too, but that had to help, right? That you were 16 and not like 25 or something? Because you were a minor, right?
It did help, but at the same time, I had raised so much hell before then, you know, that
you didn't really get the clean track record.
Well, it was definitely, you know, in the judge's eyes. And, you know, he told me whenever he gave me this final plea, you know, of 25 do 5, you know, he said, you know, I think you're a very smart guy. You know, I think you made some really stupid decisions, but the life you've lived up to this point, you need to do some time. That's exactly what he said to me. You know what I mean? And you know, those words ring in my head still today, you know, like, and, you know, I'm so thankful for that, man.
You got to suffer some consequence. I mean,
you
know,
absolutely. You know, I mean, I'm still on probation for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How long is probation?
So 20 years, 25 do 5. So I did 5 years.
Oh, so the rest
So
of it
when
is
I
on
got out of
probation.
prison, I still had 20 years probation. I've been out 8 years, April 22nd.
So what kind of probation is it? Is it like you got to check in once a month?
Oh, no, I'm good. Well, at first it was. Yeah, my first 2 years out of prison was super secure. People coming in, going through my underwear drawers.
Damn.
You know, everything. Because I have a gun charge.
Yeah.
You know? And so, you know, going through everything, drug tests, all that, you know, everything. But, yeah, we'll get to whenever I got out of prison. I was like, I had a whole different
We're
life.
actually right at 29 and a half, so take a break real quick.
Third plea deal, you know, he comes at me with the 25 do 5, you know, and I'm, you know, completely elated at that, you know.
I mean, this is insane. Like, because you were looking at first, dude, definitely 40, all the way to like 5.
Yeah.
Like 35 fucking years.
Yeah.
Bro, that is the importance of a good lawyer that is, you know, embedded in the community.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes a small town lawyer can be a good one, you know.
I had a small town lawyer for my accident, so yeah, I get that. But
yeah, for sure. But so, you know, he advised me to take the plea deal, of course, which I was happy to do. Took the plea deal. The process starts right away. You know, I go back to the cell and everything. A week later, I'm in the back of a police cruiser going to Jackson, Georgia, which is prison diagnostics, you know.
Yeah.
And this is really where things start to take a turn for my life, you know. You know, I get to Jackson. Jackson is a whole experience, man. People talk about boot camp in the military. You know, it's a lot like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of, you know, prison guards yelling in your face, you know, a line of naked people all going into the shower. You know, it's you know, it's very... You know, it's very enlightening to say the least.
Yeah.
You know, and also on top of that, it's, you know, there's everybody who's committed a crime and going to prison in the state is at this facility.
Yeah.
So you're there with child molesters, you're there with rapists, you're there with murderers, you're there with people who've done petty theft, you're there. I mean, it's everything all in one.
Is that because that's like a middleman facility?
Yeah, it's a diagnostics facility. It's where they put you to figure out what prison you're going to and everything. So, you know, they give you like an evaluation, you know, a psych evaluation and all of that. You get like a counselor, and most people spend 2 weeks there before they go, you know, because if you have a violent charge like I did, you could be there for 6 months. I was there for 7 months.
Damn.
So, and Jackson is rough. You know, Jackson is rough.
Why is it different? Like how long you would be there in the diagnostic place?
Because some people are, you know, they want to figure out if you're inherently violent. You know, if you're in a gang or anything like that,
Yeah.
You know, if, you know, kind of where you're going to thrive at, you know, and also, yeah, you know, I mean, I guess just for some offenders, they want to really feel what your personality is. You know, I guess I don't really know truly, you know, I mean,
I think that's the answer.
you know, yeah, I mean, I would
It's just more of an
assume so.
evaluation of like, all right, this is this person, they need to go here. This person.
Yeah, and also that too probably, and they making space.
Yeah.
It's hard to make space for somebody who's going to be there for somebody's going to be there for like 10 or 15 years.
That's an
You know,
interesting.
it's harder probably to make space for them than it is somebody who's just going to do like a year sentence or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you were there for 7 months.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, you know, the way I look at it, I was short time, five years, dude. You know, like whenever I'm in Jackson, I'm looking around and you know, this dude's got 20 years, this dude's got 10 years, this dude's got, you know, I'm starting to realize like, oh wow, like, you know, I did do like pretty sweet, you know what I mean? And, you know, but,
so I was going to, because I knew you were going to go into this anyway. Shane, I keep bringing him up because he's the other person. He went to a max security prison for violent stuff too. I think it's violent. Yeah, because they robbed somebody. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
So.
For sure.
But what I want to bring up to kind of segue you into your prison experience is he is very, very adamant about the lack of rehabilitation that the prison system does.
Absolutely none.
Yeah.
He said it's completely to create reoffenders.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, whenever you go to prison, you are a stock for the state to trade. Absolutely.
That's also what he said. He said, you're not even a human being.
You are a number now, and they make money off of you being there, you know, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
You know, that's not my opinion.
It's nasty, dude. It fucking sucks.
Yeah. And a week into Jackson, I get my first real prison experience. You know what I mean? Already, you know, it's really starting to set in with me. Like, you know, Jackson is the movie picturesque look of prison, the bars, the tiny cell. It looks just like what you see in a movie, you know.
You ended up in the movie, I guess.
Yeah, here we are. This is what I wanted, I suppose.
And I'm sure at some point you're like, God damn it. Man, I mean, you're like, fuck, like, I mean, I got 5 years. So you're trying to be grateful for like what you did get, but at the same time, you're like, dude, I hate this.
Dude, I can tell you the moment it happened, bro, is I got to Jackson in July, and my brother's birthday is July 10th. And whenever my brother's birthday passed is whenever I realized, oh, wait, I'm not going to see my brother for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
There's a lot more birthdays, though.
Yeah. I'm in prison.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's all on me now.
Yeah.
You know, it's mano y mano in here. You know, it's not about who you know, any of that. You know what I mean? Especially,
flip a switch.
Yeah, it definitely flipped a switch in me. I remember writing I wrote a letter to myself. I wrote a creed to myself that day that I would not let anybody get over on me or anything, that I would stick by my honor, even if it was my life.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, you know, they talk about people getting raped in prison. They talk about those type of things. You know, of course, those are concerns of mine. You know,
like, dude,
I mean?
I'm young. Like,
yeah, dude, I'm young, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and I wasn't like a big dude either. I was, you know, lanky as hell. You know what I mean? But I definitely had heart. You know, I definitely had heart. You know, and you know, speaking on that too, you know, people do get raped in prison, bro. But I'm gonna tell you right now, like if somebody gets raped in prison, it's because they were hanging out with the people doing the raping. You know, like it's just how it is.
Damn.
You know, it's who you surround yourself with, bro. And it's the same thing out here. You know, like who you associate with is who you're gonna become.
Yeah, exactly.
You
man.
know, and
you're the company you keep, man.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure, man. And so
your flip switch or
yeah. I wrote the
I
creed.
say that all the time.
Me too, dude.
I say it backwards all the time.
I always have to correct it.
I always say
You're good,
that.
bro. So yeah, I wrote the creed to myself. This and you know that's on a whole other thing. I've always been somewhat of a writer. I love to write. And so yeah, I wrote the creed to myself, and this was absolutely a defining moment in my life. You know, and from that moment on, I basically committed to myself to just be the best person I can be for me. You know what I mean? Like I went from being a person who was, you know, giving out drugs to people, you know, trying to live this fake, you know, bullshit life, you know, and I basically was, you know, just confronted with the reality of, you know, this is me and my world, and, you know, I'm the sculptor of my own reality.
Yeah.
You know, and so.
And that was at the beginning of the 5 years?
Yes.
That you wrote that to yourself?
Yes. And, you know, now it took me about 3 years of bullshit before I really started honoring that. You know what I mean? But my first prison experience was I got like $25 on my books, you know, and this is in Jackson too. And, you know, I went and got me a little sack of food. I'm not in my cell for 3 minutes, you know what I mean? And, you know, 4 or 5 bloods coming there, you know, give us your food, you know what I mean? And, you know, I mean, you know, for anybody just to sit here and say that they clicked and it was just like, no, fuck you, you know, I mean, I contemplated, you know what I mean? I was scared, bro. You know what I mean? I've never been to prison in my life. I'm young, you know?
So you're also a kid. I'm assuming these are adults.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Wait, that's another thing. So again, going to the minor thing, they put you with adults?
Oh, I was not a minor, bro. They charged me as an adult off the rip.
They charge you as an adult?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, no, there was no minor.
Probably was good for you.
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, like you were saying earlier, they said even though you were a minor, they knew that you had been into some other shit, et cetera. But still, I wouldn't think they would put you. I mean, that seems like they're asking for you to get.
How it goes.
I'm gonna tell you what the investigator told me. Welcome to Georgia.
Thanks.
Yeah. And so, but I had contemplated, and then I remembered the creed that I wrote to myself, and I just hauled off and hit this dude. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I won that fight. You know what I mean? But
I kept my shit. After that, but hey,
I kept my shit though. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And you did win, I think.
I would say I did win. And I got my ass kicked for sure. There's 4 or 5 of them in there. But yeah, I kept my shit.
And so that was a big moment.
That was a big moment for me personally. It just made me realize, like, okay, I can do it. Mm-hmm. Like, I can do it. But then
do this.
Yeah, but that also, on the other side of me, created a whole other fire because I'm angry now, and I'm in prison. Mm-hmm. The perfect place to be if you're angry.
Yeah.
And so then it kind of grew into me being a bully.
You went the other way. You were like, I'm gonna be the one that.
Absolutely. I still hadn't grown out of that power phase in my head, And so one thing led to another, I started robbing people myself, started doing things like that. Also, I'm unaffiliated. I did not join a gang the whole time I was in prison. One of the biggest things I'm proud of. Because a lot of people go and they do join something out of cowardice or whatever it may be. That's my opinion of it. You know, I understand people's path. They don't, have a family unit, and that's a whole different respect for a different kind of thing. But it grows into something else when you're in a place like that. Yeah. And so, but one thing led to another, and whenever I got shipped to my,
that's what I was about to ask you.
Yeah, whenever I got shipped to my prison, Hayes State in Georgia. Which is a level 5 facility. You have a top up of the hill annex and a lower down the hill. I was at the top of the hill, which is the most violent.
Yeah.
So I get to Hayes State, and this is a whole different ball game. And I'm standing in the Sally Port. Like I said, scrawny little white kid. In a level 5 prison. And there's 4 or 5 people sending out. This became normal to me also at some point. Whenever fresh meat would come in, you're at the Sally Port and you're just there to intimidate and just to let them know, like, it's game time, baby.
Yeah.
So I go to my bunk, put my stuff down. By the time I even get my stuff down, I turn around and there's a member of the Aryan Brotherhood standing in front of me, and he's talking about, put up your set. First thing they want to do is heart check me. So me and Buddy are going at it in the cell.
What is that?
Yeah, but heart check is.
Let's fight.
Yeah, let's fight. Let's see what you're about. Let's see what you're about.
So you just walk in and he's like, throw him up, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And so me and Buddy go at it. He's like, okay, you got heart. You got heart. Within the hour, I'm being confronted by the leader of the whole dorm, which is 270 people, of the Aryan Brotherhood. They want to recruit me. Now how I was raised, you don't hate people. You love people.
Yeah.
And you lead by example.
For sure.
So I denied. I don't want to be a part of your organization.
How hard was that?
Personally, for me, not hard,
not from a
because
standpoint.
Because I'd already been through 7 months of Jackson at this point.
Gotcha.
I've already kind of figured out. I've already had a plan of like who I'm going to be in this space.
Yeah, you had that intention
for sure. And they picked up on that too, and that's why they wanted me.
Yeah.
But now that I'm denying their narrative, now I'm a threat because I'm a white boy that'll stand on my own 2 feet, and I'm not going to commit to their cause. Mm-hmm. So I'm instantly green-lighted by the Aryan Brotherhood, So it became everywhere I went, I was fighting the Aryan Brotherhood,
So when you say green-lighted, they were just coming after you
all the time, yeah. And
that's crazy.
In order really just to push you to roll with them.
To roll with me, yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah,
So they were doing that to try to recruit you still.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we give this guy enough pressure, he's gonna click up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's not gonna want to deal with this anymore.
I was gonna say, so it was more of a thing of like, hey, we'll stop doing this.
And I mean, there would be times they would try to like extend and be nice to me to try that appeal. You know what I mean? And I would never. one thing my father did teach me is that you come in this world alone and you die alone, and you don't pay for any other man's mistake but your own. So, that was something that really stuck with me through there. And I said, you know what? Don't think for 1 second that I didn't think about joining a gang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's opportunities everywhere right in front of you.
Yeah.
But, I had to really look deep within myself and realize that I'm not willing to die for somebody else's mistake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, if I die for a choice I make, I'm okay with that.
Of course.
But, one thing led to another.
The military then.
Yeah, that's what they keep telling me, for real. So one thing led to another, and through the process of me fighting off the Aryan Brotherhood, this became like a full-time job almost. 4 or 5 days a week, fighting somebody or just having a confrontation with somebody. And through the process of this, some of the OGs in the dorm started to notice that, okay, this kid's got heart. You know what I mean? And these are guys who have been in there for, 20 years. Those guys have been in there for 32 years. You know what I mean? And some of them have been in this one dorm in the same cell for 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? These are the guys who really making decisions amongst the prison.
Yeah.
And
they're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. And, there was a man named Joe McKenzie, rest in peace to Joe, man. He was a Vietnam veteran, bro. And this dude was in his 60s, maybe even early 70s. And talking ripped for that age.
Yeah.
And this dude was an absolute unit, And one day I just get moved into Joe's cell, which is not something that happened by accident. He has power. And, I'm still thinking, I'm still got the mentality of any cell I ever went into, I always had the mentality, this is my fucking cell. You're just here.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not going to sit here and say that I won every fight. I lost a lot of fucking fights.
Yeah.
I got my ass beat all the time, bro.
Yeah.
I got my ass beat all the time, but I fought every single one. You know what I mean? And over time doing that.
You couldn't be broken.
Something like that, I felt broken.
But up here,
I just wouldn't show it. I refused to show it. You know what I mean? And, so Joe, I assume, got me moved into his cell because I had been kind of corresponding with the OGs. And at this point, I was starting to do some real dangerous dirt where I was the GDs would pay me to go stab a blood. So that way it didn't fall back on the gang.
Because you were unaffiliated.
Because I was unaffiliated, exactly. And that started to put me in a really dangerous zone, And so Joe got me into his cell and
and a lot of these things could extend your sentence too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's
absolutely.
Yeah.
This is 3 years in, I'm dealing with some real self-hate, some anger, some, whenever you're 17 years old, 5 years sounds like an eternity. Man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm not thinking, I'm really at this point, I'm not thinking. That's it, I'm not
you're
thinking.
not thinking long term. You're surviving on a day-to-day basis because you're in war. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. I'm stuck in survival mode for sure, and, but, as a man, you have to take responsibility for that and go on to greater things.
No doubt,
And, so yeah, Joe, I guess he really saw something in me. Like I said, I assumed that he moved me into his cell. I really don't know to this day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anything that Joe did didn't happen by accident, period.
Yeah.
This guy had already been, in prison for, 18 or 20 years at this point, but this was a man who didn't really speak to anybody. He woke up every day. He worked out twice a day. He ate the same thing every day. He read the same books every day. This man was disciplined out this world.
Yeah.
Unaffiliated, old man that nobody fucked with, And he gets me in his cell, and the first thing I want to do is say, look, motherfucker, this is my place. And this dude just, throat to the back brick wall, up off my feet. Strong as an ox, baby, and just.
You were like,
he's
maybe not.
He's like, what was that?
I didn't know what you heard. It was
it came out weird, but what I was trying to say was.
I meant to say, I love your place.
Yeah, it looks so good in here, dude. That's my bad. That's my bad.
Bro. But you know what? The best part about that interaction was he didn't take that opportunity to say, look here, motherfucker, let me tell you, this is my place. He pinned me up against the wall. He said, dude, you are getting out in a few years. What are you doing? You know, he was like, you have a real opportunity here. You know, like you can really become something great.
Yeah.
And, you know, part of the reason that God or whatever you believe in put you here in this space with me is to try to help you. You know, are you going to let me do that? You know, because if not, I might as well just ice you right here. You know, is basically what he said to me, you know. And, you know, this is the first time that I've been in prison that somebody like
I was going to say, you were talking
reached
about it earlier.
through the veil. You know what I mean?
About somebody putting their finger in your face and stuff. Sounds like he did that.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, holy shit, this guy wants to help
Yeah.
me. Like, this is a first. And, like, that's pretty fucking dope, though.
That is
That's pretty wild, man. It's like some movie shit.
Life-changing.
Yeah.
And in a place where it's nothing but predators, and you have somebody who could have been a predator and was
Absolutely.
like,
Yeah.
look, like you said, I see something in you. You need to have this perspective. And so that's pretty cool.
Well, because he can only imagine, like, if he had the opportunity you did, you know, like the only.
That's it.
You know, and, like, it's like, man, I'm never going to get that. And
Joe
there's this young
McKenzie.
fucking kid that has his whole life ahead of him. Like, you know, and at the end of the day, it's like you know, you talked about, not to interrupt you, but you talked about how you committed yourself to service. And, like, maybe in some fashion, like, that was his way to, like, fucking do something positive in his life while he still could, you know, like, cause he's old, you know, and he didn't have much time left, you know, so.
And you weren't a 20-year guy. You weren't a guy who had, you know, killed a bunch of people or, you know, raped a kid or something.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, you're going to get out and you need to realize that.
Somehow Joe already knew all that information about me, right? Yeah.
He's been around enough people. He could probably just sense it. You know?
Probably. And he'd been watching me for these, you know, 2 years, you know, this is, you know, a couple years in also, you know, and so, yeah, you know.
Unfortunately, we only have about 10 minutes left, so.
Well, you know, Joe was never going home was the thing. Yeah. You know, Joe was never going home. So I definitely think that he saw this as an opportunity to build something great, you know. And, you know, at this point, you know, I basically made a decision not to necessarily trust this man, but that maybe he had something that I never experienced before. Mm-hmm. You know, and, you know, through time, he started like introducing me to things like discipline, things like honor. You know, these are things that I had never really seen outside of a movie or something. You know, I never really seen it in a real life space.
Things of real value.
Yeah, things of real value.
Well, you mentioned earlier your dad taught you, if he taught you one thing, so we don't have time for it, unfortunately, but I'm assuming he wasn't in your life.
No, my dad was, but he was a trucker. So he was just always kind of gone, you know. My dad's a good man. Okay, you know, my dad was a good man.
Being a provider, man.
Yeah, it's just, you know, he just, maybe not the best role model, but a good man, you know. And, so, you know, I'm thankful for that for sure, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe also you know, it's a bow to my father that I was able to receive Joe's message.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, I was able to.
The ground was fertile for it.
Yeah, for sure, you know. And, you know, so, yeah, you know, it eventually became, you know, a whole life change for me, man.
Yeah.
You know, I went from being, you know, and through those few years, I gained a little bit of power in prison also, just like I had out here. You know, I could, you know, get somebody to do something for me, get this person stabbed or get this person robbed if I was hungry, you know what I mean? And, you know, that, you know, they call that being a shot caller.
Yeah.
You know, I get to sit at the black table, you know, and, you know, that's not like a black, like race table. Like it's a table that's actually black. You know, that all the, you know, people who are shot callers sit at.
Yeah.
That was like my whole purpose in life when I got that in that dorm. I was like, okay, I'm going to get to this table, whatever I got to do. Yeah. You know, and then I got there. Oh wait, I'm unaffiliated. I don't have a say anyway. You know, so you know, it just. But yeah, you know, I mean, you know, being the shot caller and all that. You know, whenever I met Joe, it really put a wedge in my spirit. Yeah. You know, of like, okay, this man is correct no matter how I feel about it. Mm. You know, and. You know, what am I going to be when I get out of here? What am I going to do? You know, like I'm starting all over. You know, I don't have no high school diploma. I don't have no GED still to this day. You know, like, you know, everybody else is going to prom. You know, I was, you know, making shanks. You know,
fighting the Aryan Brotherhood.
Yeah. Joe who? Joe, what was his name?
Joe McKenzie, man.
Rest in power, Joe McKenzie.
Yeah, man. True savage.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
That's good, dude. He was a massive influence on your life. Like, this is just a wild catalyst because it was all chaos till then.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that we've already mentioned it a couple times, but yeah, definitely going to have you back.
Let's do it,
to get
bro.
more into this part. And I hate
Yeah, because
It's
12:02. So
Yeah.
I want to get to your takeaways because I know that's a big thing.
For sure.
You want to
absolutely, man.
about. So
yeah. Real quick? What are your takeaways? And we're gonna, I want to get more of your story, and obviously, there's only so much more, and then we'll talk about it.
Absolutely,
shit too,
man. But the person that you want to be, man, already exists inside of you, bro. It's already alive. It's already breathing. All you have to do, man, is adopt the habits that make that person a reality, man. The vision that I had for personal greatness and excellence, man, was something that was always in me. I was just choosing to do it in a negative space. The people who you surround yourself with, will become who you are. And you guys can do it, man. You can do it, but you got to do it. Nothing changes if nothing changes, man.
God
I like that within you thing too. I heard a phrase. I think it was Marcus Aurelius that said it. He probably said it in meditation, so you might have heard it. But he said, "Today I was freed from anxiety, or rather, I freed myself because it was always within me to do so."
Yep, it already existed.
It already existed, man.
I love that. Or rather, I freed myself because it was always. I love that. Or rather, like he's like, today I escaped it as if there was some external force that he escaped, and he's like, actually,
I've always been.
It was within me, and I just.
It's funny because I've had, before we cut out, I've had some situations with people in my life that are come and gone, and people are like, man, I told you they were bad, or they fucking this and that, and I'm like, man, I saw that little bit of good in them. I saw that piece of them that could be something great. And I just believed in that. And while maybe they fucked me over or whatever, even when I have a falling out with somebody, it's much less fucking hate them. It's more damn, it's just kind of disappointing because I see the potential in individuals because everybody's got that fucking light in there. And some people just need a little more work to do it. But there's so many distractions, man. And so it's unfortunate. But I'm glad Joe got to you, man. I'm glad everything that led you there, is now serving a purpose for a greater thing in your life, man. And I think this is a very awesome podcast.
100%.
It's a disappointment that we can't keep going, but I do look forward to bringing you on here very soon and getting more out of it, man. And also just a pleasure meeting you for the first time this way.
Man.
It worked out perfectly.
Absolutely.
So thanks for being here.
Yeah,
thanks for having me, man.
I hate the unceremonious end, but you got about 3 minutes if you want to do some closing statements, Dylan.
Or do you just want to leave it at that?
We can just leave it at that, bro. I feel good about that.
All right, let's leave it at that.
I like it.
Dylan, thank you, bro.
Yeah, bro. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good having you.
Yeah.
Logan, thank you for what you do. Everybody, thank you for tuning in.
We'll see you soon.
Cool.
And that's a wrap, baby.